Tens of thousands of Texans are on the move tonight in search of safer ground. And this evening, some of the most vulnerable patients, infants, newborn babies, have been flown out of the storm zone. An extremely powerful storm, so many islands getting hammered, many Americans who could not get out in time trying to ride out this hurricane. This satellite image tonight shows the eye of this Category 5 storm fully formed there. At this hour, Irma still tracking right toward Florida, but there are several other states now in the possible monster hurricane, the strongest ever on record in the Atlantic Ocean, slamming into the Caribbean already, turning deadly, ravaging islands.
Florida are now letting people who live in the lower Keys return home.
It's been an anguishing wait for many of these people. They've been lined up on the highway, which is just opening now. 1 week after Irma hit, they're finally going to get their chance to see what happened to their homes.
But as they do so, news they don't want to hear this morning. They've got to keep an eye on the Atlantic, where 3 storms are currently brewing. One of them is likely to hit some of the islands that have already been decimated by Irma.
Dr. Jan Seabrook, she is here right now to kind of kick it off, and I got my boy James Ward in the studio, and we should be hearing from Representative Dr. Smith very shortly. But I'll go ahead and kind of toss it over to Dr. Seabrook. Kind of start us off and tell us about how you got involved in this and what this actually is.
Good morning, and thank you so much for the short notice and letting us come on and have this conversation and dialogue about helping out the victims of Hurricane Harvey down in Texas. This came out of kind of an organic in effect. We were sitting around after a management team meeting at the health center, really trying to figure out what we could do to help our sister health centers down in Houston, Texas. And we thought about collecting some non-perishable items, small amount of clothing, but really baby diapers, adult diapers, non-perishable food items such as canned goods, things that could be eaten, right away and not have to be, microwaved, or just trying to really think, how could we help? And just kind of an organic thing. And as you mentioned, James Ward is here in the studio with us. James made some calls, contacted several of our state and local representatives to find out what was going on in the state or locally, what we were doing, and found out that Dr. Vernon Smith had a connection with a church in Sugar Land, Texas, which is not too far from Houston.
I just left Sugar Land, Texas. I just been about 3 weeks ago.
So the church is Fort Bend Church in Sugar Land, Texas. And so they're going to be receiving the items that we're collecting. And we're going to be collecting these items from today all the way until September 30th at our breast cancer walk at Marquette. So we're going to collect those items at all 5 of our locations throughout Lake County. And then we're going to gather those items up. I think it's October 2nd.
October 2nd, yes.
And get them to the drop-off site. And we have kind people who have put together a truck. And they're going to truck the items down to Sugar Land, Texas, to Fort Bend, to the Fort Bend Church for us. And we're just excited. And it's, like I said, it was just organic.
Just kind of happened. Like, how can I get involved? What can I do? And
then James made the calls. He started calling around to find out.
That's James. He'll get it going.
What people were doing for Hurricane Harvey victims. And this came back to us, and Representative Dr. Vernon Smith right away said that he didn't know of anything, but he had been contacted by this church. And they asked for dry goods and diapers and things like that. And we said, hey, why not? And we contacted Representative Eddie Melton, and right away he said whatever he could do, he would lend his name to the effort, and he would spread the word and let people know about the different drop-off sites. So everyone that we've contacted, that James contacted on our behalf, has been very receptive.
So when did you start this? When did you first come up with this concept? When it was just in your little head, and then you and then you of course thrown it to James, and then he gets the ball rolling. That's what James does. I mean, how long is
It's probably been what, James, a week?
That's what I'm talking about. That's how these people operate. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So
and right after that meeting, he picked up the phone and he started calling around and said, Community HealthNet wants to be a drop-off for a collection site.
Yeah.
Can we get some help getting these items to Texas? And then right away, Dr. Vernon Smith, as always, was right on point, and he had made contact with the church, and the church was willing to accept these items, and
nice.
it was just a natural fit. Everything just fell into place.
Well, let me go over to my former principal, who, by the way, just came in a couple of minutes late. I remember what you used to do to me when I used to come in a couple of minutes late, but I'll go ahead and toss it to you, Dr. Smith. Dr. Seabrook was just telling how this whole thing came together, and I was just in Sugar Land, Texas, and you got links down there already, and this thing is picking up steam.
Yeah, let me apologize for being late. A lot of times when you get up real early, you think you got excess time, the next thing you look around, your time is gone and you're running. Okay, because I got on the computer and I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize.
No, you're good.
But she would, Dr. Seabrook has done an excellent job in explaining the genesis of this whole effort.
Yes.
I have a classmate by the name of Johnny McCrae and her sister Gloria McCrae. They live in Sugar Land.
Nice.
And so they sent a post saying that they were okay and everything, and they also sent out a request for help because they are members of a church that is in the forefront of trying to assist. I didn't realize, I've been there to visit Johnny on one occasion, and I didn't realize how close it was to Houston.
Yeah.
And so she told me that it was about 28 miles from Houston, and that she got a little water, but not as much as Houston received. And so I asked her how could I help. So she sent me an email, and then I prepared a check that I was going to mail. In the meantime, James Ward calls me. The check was laying on my desk. I was just waiting for an address. Really, I was waiting for a name to whom I should make the check payable.
Right.
And in the meantime, James called me, so I reached back. I contacted Johnny again, and I shared with her what was going on this end, and she talked with her pastor, and so that's how all this thing evolved as far as my involvement.
Nice, nice. Of course, we're talking with Dr. Smith and Janet Seabrook, and as I'm going to keep giving James props because he's a big part of how this thing kind of came to fruition. And we're talking about giving some relief to the people down in Houston, the people who have suffered through Hurricane Harvey. I think that this is pretty awesome. And the fact that in a week's time you've gotten people to donate a truck. Dr. Smith has kind of networked with people down there. So you've already got a pipeline going to get these donations directly to the people that need them. Go again and tell us what the people should be donating and what kind of products you're soliciting.
We're looking for baby diapers, adult diapers, hand sanitizer, non-perishable items.
Canned goods?
Canned goods.
Okay.
Canned goods, things that don't really have to be cooked.
Right.
That people could just open up and eat right away. So any type of ready meals and things like that. But definitely, I also understand that from just speaking and really speaking to people and kind of listening, they're in need of cleaning products as well.
Right.
Because things need to be disinfected and cleaned up. So if you can get to your local dollar store and get bleach and disinfected Lysol items like that, the spray disinfectant, the liquid disinfectant, those things, that's what we're looking for.
Right. Because I would imagine that this, I mean, I remember in school studying, and I know you know about this, is that obviously post-flood, a lot of viruses, a lot of nastiness kind of around there, and so disinfectants, hand sanitizers, all those kind of things would be welcome.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Baby wipes.
Garbage bags.
Trash bags.
Trash bags, yes.
Yeah,
there goes James again. His mind's always working. But trash bags.
Yeah, but just think about what you would need if something disastrous had happened in your home, and all of those items that you would be looking for your own self and for your family. Those items are very much in need for the Houston and Sugar Land, Texas area.
Now, Dr. Smith, what about those people who say, well, I'm kind of busy, but I'd love to make a monetary donation? Are you kind of taking that, or would you kind of just like product?
No, we will receive cash donations, and of course the cash donations can be turned into products that we get.
Yeah.
You know, initially when Johnny contacted me, and I had more communication with her daughter.
Yeah.
But when we were in communication, they originally were asking for gift cards because people needed money and they wanted them made out to McDonald's and some of the fast food places so people could just eat.
Yes.
In addition to that, they were asking for gift cards in the denominations of $25 or more,
right,
so people could go and buy clothing or go buy cleaning supplies of the nature. When I was contacted by James, then what I said was, okay, we're going to take a different route with this, and will you please ask your pastor what he wants, what is he collecting?
Right.
And so that is how this whole thing about. But we can take money, and we certainly will appreciate it. I've already posted it on my Facebook page. I'm hoping other people will share that. It was a press release, once again, written by James Ward and approved by Dr. Seabrook. But the press release shares all the information, and we're hoping that people will want to give. You know what? I always look when I see somebody that's in distress, when I see somebody who is disabled, I'm always thinking by the grace of God, there goes me. You know, if it hadn't been for God and His favor in my life, certainly I could be in that same situation. And so I think it would be catastrophic if I was in a situation where everything got flooded out.
Yes.
I remember when my home, my mother owned an apartment building when I was in college, my junior year in college, and she had 5 apartment buildings. She had 2 storefronts in there, and she had 1 mechanic's garage. And the building caught on fire. I know how devastating that was for us because we were displaced. Yeah. And displaced for a long period of time until we get the building restored, remodeled. And so, you know, I'd rather give $10, give $25 and $50 and say, Lord, I'm helping with this natural disaster, the results of it, rather than me having to be on the end where I'm the recipient. Yeah. I want to be the giver rather than the recipient on anything of that nature. Yeah. And so I'm hoping that all your listeners will feel some pulling on the strings of their heart and want to give something. Every amount helps. You know, one of the things I think about all the time is every year when we do the Pennington Drive, Nadine, who's one of your regular callers, she doesn't bring a lot in, but she's consistent on it, and you can tell that she's giving from her heart. Right. And so, you know, hopefully we can get some corporations that give a couple $1,000. But every $5, every dollar helps to get to your goal. And so we're asking people to give. You know the story in the Bible about the widow mite. She gave her last 2 pence, and Jesus said she gave more than all because she gave it with the right spirit. Right. Versus the people who were standing up and looking for praise in the synagogue and looking for praise. So we're hoping that everybody. I don't know if we're down to 80,000 or what is actually the population count in this city, but your listening audience is greater than that. If everybody just gave us $2, look at what we will have.
Yeah. And you know, Dr. Smith, I want to ask you, because I think, you know, you in the capacity as our representative and somebody who understands government, and thank God we haven't had anything catastrophic in Indiana, but I think it's worth pointing out that while we see all these aid packages and governmental packages, a lot of times there are people out there that are in between the cracks, and that this stuff actually helps. I know, because up here we hear that, okay, they've got aid going down there, they're going down there cleaning up, they don't need this, they don't need that. But you know, as somebody who is in government, you know how expansive government is, and how sometimes you don't necessarily get to all the places you want to go.
That is so true. But let me just add another thing to this. One of the things I said most recently as I talked with Johnny, I was telling her, I said, believe me, we're getting something together. Don't give up on us. Right. Because I believe in being accountable, and a whole week had gone by, and I didn't want her to think that it was out of sight, out of mind. Right. A lot of people think that, okay, well, that happened, And when it happened, I'm concerned about it. It was all over the TV, and so it was pulling on my consciousness. But when it stops being the top story on television, we think it's over.
It's still
That is going to be an ongoing process, and that's what she said in her email back to me. Hey, this is not going to be over
Right.
next week or the next week. Whenever you get it down here, it's welcome and
Right.
it's needed. And so I'm hoping that everybody who's listening understand the importance of helping somebody else that's in need. And I read on one occasion that man stands the tallest when he reaches out to help someone who's in need.
Right.
And so I'm hoping, and I'm trying to be as persuasive as I can.
You are very persuasive. I'm about to cry.
That people are listening
Yeah.
and understanding what a joy it is to be able to help somebody.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Seabrook, let's now talk logistics, because there are people who, and Dr. Smith, I saw your post, so it is on Facebook. Dr. Smith's very visible on Facebook. All of us follow him. So are you, Dr. Seabrook. So are you, James. You know you're over there. But what I'm saying is, give us the logistics right now for people in the listening audience about where they should pick this stuff up. Where they should drop these materials off, and where they can send checks if they want to.
Okay, so we have 5 locations in Lake County, Community HealthNet.
Okay.
So 1021 West 5th Avenue is our main location, right in front of the Gary Police Department.
Yeah.
Then we have 5927 Columbia Avenue in Hammond. Our 15 Shelby Street.
Exactly, in Miller.
Miller location, Shelby Street. 6100 Broadway, our Merrillville location. 3900 Calhoun Street.
So all community health,
all community HealthNet locations.
That's
are
where you are
collection
taking.
sites, yes.
And Dr. Smith, will you be taking any personally? If
Yeah, you can deliver them to my store, which is at
Beautiful Things?
Beautiful Things, 3570 Village Court, and I'll transport them to those 5 sites.
Right, because there are a lot of people that probably are more familiar.
And I want to challenge people. Gary has some official leaders, and people like Ron, who calls in all the time, Ms. Ledbetter.
Yeah.
They influence people. Mrs. Barge.
Ms. Porter Barge.
Porter Barge. Those people they have followers. They have people who listen to them. I'm hoping that they will get on the phone, and I've known what some of those people have been able to do when they choose to do it.
Right.
This is an occasion where you ought to be stepping up and showing that you can make a difference.
Well said. I agree. And once again, this is to help the victims of Hurricane Harvey. And I think I'm gonna get a phone call in a second. We got a couple minutes. If you want to kind of call in and chime in on this conversation, feel free to do so. 219-885-1371. 219-885-1371. I'll save my comments. Let's go to the phones. Caller, how you doing? Good morning.